debt recovery and loan recovery, that's subsidies which NABARD provide to the farmers. After a long time, it's become a non-performing asset from NABARD itself. If you see the Union Security Council, it's completely nowadays is biased in the western side also. What will the solution? Role of governor in Indian Constitution is supporting the federal structure or not?
May I come in?
Please come in.
Good evening, sirs.
Good evening. Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Malik, after you have done your BTech, you got a job and you worked for NABARD.
Yes, sir.
And midway, you have also done your MA in Political Science.
Yes, sir.
From Indira Gandhi National Open University.
Yes, sir.
What were the propelling factors for having done this?
Sir, post my graduation in mechanical engineering, I had started preparing for civil services. And sir, because I opted for political science as an optional, I developed an interest in the subject. And I also find it a very contemporary subject with relevance as far as the day-to-day happenings in India and the world are concerned. So I thought that also to reinforce my preparation and also to have a good career backup, I did the subject.
You have mentioned about a lot of letter appreciation and other things, especially on the agricultural side. Are they in relation to your job as an assistant general manager with the NABARD?
Yes,
or is it some other distinction?
sir, they are related to my work in the field, my present assignment as the district development manager. So these are related to that one.
You have also mentioned best camper state Red Cross camp. What is this?
Sir, during my school time, there was a state level Red Cross camp that was conducted in Kurukshetra, Haryana. So it was an 8-day camp and we participated in it. And due to certain activities, sir, I was at best camper for boys in that.
And you also mentioned very interesting thing, like you are interested in singing. What do you sing?
Sir, Hindi movie songs, both old and new, I like singing. Just as an amateur, sir. I'm not a classically trained singer.
we would like a demonstration over here, but at the same time, can you tell me something like we always used to keep on saying that the old Hindi songs, the old Bollywood songs, are etched into our memories, while the new ones, the moment you come out of the cinema hall, what would be the possible reason for this?
The first reason I believe is the nature of music. So we have a very soft, subtle music when we talk about the 70s, 60s, and 80s. And it's also to do with the melodious voices of the likes of Mohammed Rafi, Kishore Kumar, Lata Mangeshkar. So I believe that there are still no match to the prowess of their singing in contemporary time. Third, sir, also I believe the lyrics factor is very important because those lyrics people could relate more with, and many of the songs also had a message which was relevant also. So perhaps these were the factors. These are the factors I believe.
But don't you have a talent pool of new singers as well, like Jai Ho? You must have heard about Jai Ho.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, Jeho is a song that is composed by A.R. Rahman and also sung by Sukhwinder Singh. That was in the movie Slumdog Millionaire, and also got an Oscar award for the best song of the year. So we do have a good talented pool of singers, but at the same time, due to the emergence of auto tuning and all, so many of the not so talented singers are also sounding very good when we hear them on like playback.
Do you also have some idea about the ragas, the various ragas in Indian music?
Sir, ragas are musical compositions. Basically, there are 108 rags in the Hindustani classical music. So there are melodious compositions, and they follow certain rules, like they should be at least there should at least be five swar in one rag. And sir, also there are specific times for singing and presentation of a particular rag. There's a particular way of singing a particular rag also. So this is what I know about the rags.
What is hip hop music?
Sir, hip hop is one of the contemporary styles of music that emerged in the 40s and 50s and got popular in the 80s and 90s. And sir, it's more of a fast-paced music. Although, sir, I don't know about the technical nuances of it.
Have you heard about Bonnie M?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to.
Are you also interested in dancing?
No, sir.
Thank you.
I see that you had a change in school after
Yes,
class 10. What was the reason for that you did not want to continue in the same school? There was some administrative requirement.
Sir, actually, till I was in 10th class, so that school only had the education till 10th class.
Okay, that's it. Fine. And you had done your MA through IGNU and taken a bit of time. What was the reason for taking so much? Maybe you were busy with your job
Yes,
and
sir.
also with your civil services preparation. You've taken 5 years.
Yes, sir.
So you think you could have done it a little earlier also?
Sir, actually, I did my first year by 2016. Like I joined in 2015, but sir, in December 2016, I started working in NABARD, and sir, there were official constraints. I could not get the leave, so I could not take the exam in the next 3 years. So eventually, sir, in the fifth year only, I could manage that time.
So how many hours of working do you have in, from what time to what time in the
Sir, the office hours are from 9:30 to 5:30, but since I'm in the field assignments since the past 5 years, there are no fixed timings, sir. Sometimes we have to even work till 9 or 10 and even on the weekend.
is it once in a while or usual pattern is working till about 10 hours?
Sir, in the field, at least 2 to 3 times a week because sir, there's a lot of traveling involved also. So it happens that we have to work.
And your weekends, your Sundays, need time for preparation for that, for your IGNU exams or study?
Sir, definitely one could manage that time, if I believe, sir. Like it was not a difficulty, but getting 8 straight leaves in a span of say 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Somewhere, sir, that was a difficulty back then. So that's why I could not manage it.
You were the discipline captain in school.
Yes, sir.
Tell me some good moments and some memories that you have of the school where you found it getting into some anxious moments, not able to control or having some issues. Did you get into any of these situations?
Sir, although for 1 year I was the discipline captain, so I have fond memories because I could instill certain good activities. Like we used to see for who are the people coming late, so we used to maintain a list, and we found it out that eventually it got reduced because of the naming and shaming kind of a thing. Second, sir, the dress code was also strictly followed. So we used to have random checks during assembly hours, and also we maintained the discipline for moving in lines. So these things we could do. But there was a time when just before the Diwali, so it was certain students they used to burst crackers in the school. So there we had a lot of anxious moments because our task was really difficult. We need to find any such activities happening. We need to do random checks of bags also. So still a few times we could not prevent it from happening.
What was your method of keeping the discipline under check? Either by correcting yourself or by reporting to the teachers or superiors?
Sir, as far as the things related to the uniform discipline. So we used to tell the students if anything like happens that they're not wearing proper tie or belt or anything like that. So we used to tell them that from tomorrow, please make sure that you dress properly. But sir, when it came to coming late to the school, so we used to make sure that the student only gets inside the school premises or the classroom once they get the permission from their respective class teachers. And in some cases, if there is a repeated violation, then sir from the principal.
Okay. So you used punitive tactics or other kind of tactics, motivational or what was it? How did you motivate people to be more disciplined? And was there any change during your time?
Sir, I believe that most of the tactics were kind of checks and balances in nature. Because, sir, I believe if I'm now with the captain, I would for some motivation, but more or less, sir, they were of checks and balances, monitoring, and also reporting certain things.
Okay.
Abhimanyu Malik.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something about Abhimanyu from Mahabharat.
Sir, Abhimanyu was a warrior in the epic Mahabharata. He was the son of Arjun, very well known for his bravery and courage that he exhibited in the Mahabharata war.
You know about J.C. Bose, Jagdish
Yes,
Chandra Bose.
yes, sir. Sir, he was a premier scientist of the country, Jagdish Chandra Bose. His works included research on the plants and also related to certain radio telecommunication.
What was the name of his instrument which he discovered to justify the plants are living thing?
Sorry, sir, I don't know the answer to this.
Nowadays, is too much use of pesticide in the crops. It is really dangerous for our health. How it's affect our ecosystem.
Sir, indeed, overuse of pesticide does negatively impact our health. Sir, I would just, because of my practical experience of it, sir, there was a study where the average lifespan of person who's engaged in pesticide spray was only 5 years from the day he started doing the pesticide spray. So such is the level of problem, because sir, there are certain very dangerous chemicals that are there in it, like in tricyclos or buprofrazin. So these the residual impact, because it magnifies in the ecosystem, and sir, ultimately when it comes to the human beings, it becomes more poisonous for us to consume.
What is the alternative of this pesticide? When we are shifted to the organic crops, the production rate and the yield is gradually down with comparison to the pesticides crops.
So there can be a couple of solutions to it, I believe. The first is deploying the good agriculture practices. Now, there are certain things that we can do in agriculture by which we can reduce the application of pesticides to a great extent and also improve the yield of our crops. Now, the problem is not with the pesticide spray, sir, but what we are doing is we are not applying it in the right quantity, at the right time, and in the right amount. That is the issue. So, that awareness needs to be created. Second thing, if we talk about the organic and the natural farming, sir, initially for 3-4 years the yield does go low to the benchmark yield. But sir, if the farmer continues to deploy good quality organic manure and the right kind of practices, then after 4 years, sir, it does get at par with the benchmark yield. So for that, certain patience is required, sir.
What is nano urea and how it is different from the particle urea?
Sir, liquid nano urea is like recently been launched by the IFCO, and sir, it basically contains nanoparticles of urea in the liquid form. Now, sir, it greatly reduces the requirement of urea spray. It makes it 1/4, because obviously at the nanoscale, sir, certain properties of the particle they become more enhanced and efficient. So, sir, it is, I believe, is the right solution as far as the problem of URI is concerned.
But the farmers are complaining that when they are shifted from particle urea to liquid nano urea, their yield is gradually going down. Is it any problem in liquid nano urea? Is it problem in the implement of that nanoparticle urea? What do you think about?
Sir, I've had experience with certain farmers, those who have used it, and I've also overseen certain sprays of the liquid nano urea. The results are mixed, I would say, because some of the farmers have reported that they have not seen any yield decline. Now, sir, the most important aspect is how they are spraying it. Like in because sir, still there are package of practices that need to be developed as to what height the drone should be operating at, and what quantity of the and the nozzle design. So these things matter a lot. So an efficient sprayer knows how to spray it in what quantity. But then there are, if it is not sprayed properly, sir, definitely there are chances of a risk, a yield decline.
Crop diversification can help to increase or enhancement of yield or not.
Sir, it does help in enhancement of yield.
How is it work?
Sir, because if we keep on doing one kind of a crop, now a particular kind of a crop would have requirements of a particular kind of nutrients. Now, that kind of nutrients would be exhausted if we keep on doing that. Once we rotate the crops to some other crop, so those the soil gets time to get replenished for those kind of nutrients. So it does have a positive impact upon the yields of all the crops, sir.
You work in NABARD.
Yes, sir.
When NABARD started?
Sir, NABARD was established in 1982.
Date?
Sir, 12th July 1982.
Headquarter of NABARD?
Sir, it is in Mumbai.
NABARD is bank or financial institution.
Sir, NABARD is a financial institution.
Debt recovery and loan recovery, that's subsidies which NABARD provide to the farmers. It's some after a long time, it's become a non-performing asset from NABARD itself.
Sir, NABARD is not directly providing the loans to the farmers. It is mainly doing the refinancing operations to the banks. Uh, but yes, sir, the NPA problem is still there in NABARD because we have lent to certain NBFCs which have defaulted in certain repayments. But the quantum of NABARD's NPA is less than 0.1%. So it's not a cause of worry currently, sir.
What are the roles of speaker in assembly?
The first role is to maintain the decorum in the house. Second, sir, to ensure that the rules and procedures that are mentioned in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha statute books and in the constitution, they are followed scrupulously. Third, sir, is to ensure that there is proper discuss and debate on matters of public and general importance, and also the laws, and also to take actions in case of any indiscipline. And with the advent of the anti-defection law, they have also a very special function to pronounce upon the judgments related to the defection of the legislators.
In Lok Sabha, Prime Minister is more powerful and Speaker is more powerful.
Sir, if we talk about the overall power, I believe, sir, the speaker is more powerful because speaker does possess the power to even suspend the prime minister. But sir, for the life of the Lok Sabha itself, prime minister becomes powerful because he can uh, recommend for its dissolution anytime.
If you see the UN Security Council, it's completely nowadays is biased in the Western side also. What will the solution? UN Security Council it doesn't solve the Kashmir issue, not solving the Israel Hamas conflict. Moreover, the Ukraine and Russia war is going long and long. What is the relevant nowadays? You are thinking that there is a necessary reform in UN Security Council or not?
That there is a dire requirement of reform in the UN Security Council.
What is the hurdle to reforming this?
that the hurdle lies in the very nature of the international politics itself. Like, sir, whosoever has power would never want it to get decentralized.
So how India can influence to reform the UN Security Council?
Sir, India has been pitching very hard with all the members of the UN Security Council. We have also got support from various developing countries and also from Global South for our membership for the UN Security Council. But sir, still I believe there's a long way to go because at the end of the day we have a great adversary in the UN Security Council, and they have the veto power for any kind of expansion to take place. We have to counter that veto. So only within more nudging and more influence in the international politics, we can ensure that our place is there in the committee of those nations.
Developing countries and southern countries allegedly say that the UN is a puppet of the winners countries of Second World War. Is it right or not?
Sir, it is right to a great extent because the structure of the UN and particularly the UN Security Council reflects upon the outcome of the 19 like the Second World War, and it has not changed since then. Though the world has changed completely after that, but still the countries are not willing to make changes accordingly.
Role of governor in Indian constitution is supporting the federal structure or not?
Sir, role of governor is, I believe, sir, the institution of governor is the most important link for the working of the federation in the country because he happens to be the most important channel between the center and the state.
Sometimes we see that the governor is not working like an agent of central government. It work like a agent of party who is really ruling in central government. Do you think this?
Sir, I do not see it in that regard, sir, because if we talk about the role of the governor, now he has to ensure certain interest of the center and the union to be ensured in the state.
There is no any problem when governor ensure the role of central government in state. But the problem is that the governor is playing a role of ruling party who is ruling in central government.
Sorry, sir, but I do not any such I do not know any such instance where this is happening.
What are the benefit of decentralization of power and how it is different from division of power?
Sir, decentralization of power is like uh, having power distributed without like it's not about complete watertight compartments of power. It's about working in a structure, say a two-tier structure, a three-tier structure, where every tier has a certain power enshrined in a statutory book.
In
Whereas,
Indian constitution, where we see the decentralization of power.
sir, we see in the very the first we see it in the lists of subjects that are mentioned in the seventh schedule. Second, sir, we also see it in the 73rd and the 74th amendment.
In seventh schedule, there is a decentralization of power is or dividation of power.
Sir, there's a division of power. Thank you,
Division
sir,
of power.
for correcting me.
Okay. What is the difference between the parliamentary structure of US and India? How US parliament is different from Indian parliament?
Sir, US has a presidential system of government. So the executive is not the part of the US parliament, sir. The Congress and US Congress, sir. The House of the Representatives and the Senate. As far as the number of houses are concerned, that they are similar when it comes to India. Uh, Whereas in India, sir, we have a parliamentary system of government where the executive forms part of the parliament itself. They are responsible to it, and they also have to command majority in the parliament in order to execute it.
Before Taliban, India invested a huge amount of money and etc. in Afghanistan. But after becoming power of Taliban in India of Afghanistan government, India is not recognizing Taliban. So how can we lose our strategic partner Afghanistan? If India will not recognize Afghanistan, we will not make any diplomatic relation with Afghanistan. And this is a clear ground to play for China as well as Pakistan also. Because China has a lot of technology, funding, everything is China. So we are losing our very crucial partner Afghanistan. How India can balance this? Taliban especially.
Sir, we have recognized this issue, and I believe that the diplomatic efforts are being done in this regard. Sir, we have not still gone for recognition of Taliban regime, but we have also kept it to the UN that if you accept it, so we'll also be willing to recognize Taliban government in Afghanistan. So that is first tense.
UN is not going to accept Taliban because in UN the same influence of US and Western countries are UN is completely influenced by the Western countries and they are not going to recognize Afghanistan. So what will India do? We are only doing sending some aid, medical issues, and how long this will work?
But I believe that at some point of a time, because we have reiterated our stance that our cooperation is with the people of Afghanistan. So somewhere we will be continuing that, and for that, sir, we would be needing some kind of meaningful engagement with Taliban, also to keep China at bay. But sir, at the same time, we cannot forget, and government of India has reiterated that it is a terrorist regime after all, and it's not very easy for us to go for an open diplomacy with them.
India doesn't declare Hamas as a terrorist organization, but India declared Taliban as a terrorist organization. Suppose Afghanistan declare itself a democracy and a democratic government come in power in Afghanistan, then India will recognize Afghanistan government or not? Might it will be Taliban.
Sir, I believe if a true meaningful democratic government takes shape in Afghanistan, then probably we would be willing to accept it.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Malik,
Yes, sir.
you play shooting volleyball. Is it like any ordinary volleyball?
Sir, shooting volleyball is one of the variants of volleyball.
What's the difference?
Sir, shooting volleyball basically has 7 players against what we have. We have 6 in the conventional one. Sir, the players have to pass over the ball to the other side of net in one attempt in shooting volleyball, whereas we have 3 attempts in the conventional volleyball.
Okay. Now, you tell me, like IPL, is there any Premier League in volleyball also?
Sir, yes, there are many premier leagues across the globe, sir.
No. In volleyball, in India, like we have IPL or Indian Soccer League. Is there any such kind of league in volleyball?
Yes, sir. There is also a volleyball premier league in India.
What's it called?
Sir, I'm not sure about the name.
So, is it held yearly or bi-yearly? Any idea?
Sir, it's an annual affair, as far as I could recall.
So, do you know when it's being organized?
Sorry, sir.
No. Now, India has expressed his pleasure with the sovereign rating that many of these rating agencies give, particularly to India. Can you tell us why India is so disappointed? Since you are in the banking sector.
Sir, most of the sovereign credit rating agencies, they have not upgraded the India's credit rating since past 2 decades. Also, a lot of water has flown in the past 2 decades. We are now the third largest economy and fastest emerging economy in the world.
We are third largest economy.
Sir, in terms of PPP.
Yes, in terms of PPP.
Okay. Yes, sir. And also, sir, our macroeconomic fundamentals, they're very sound. If we talk about our inflation is quite under check if we talk about other economies. But sir, the kind of criteria that are being used by certain agencies include include aspects like rule of law. Also, these are very subjective kind of parameters. So our basically point of contention is this only, that you should rather work on our economic fundamentals. We
What is
have
that basic economic fundamental that India is putting forth?
uh, sir, first is our GDP growth rate. It happens to be very decent in past, I would say, past 2 decades. Second, sir, our fiscal deficit is also under check if we talk about the other economies of the world, and also the overall public debt. Third, also, sir, we have never defaulted on any kind of payments to outside agencies or other countries. And any which way, sir, we have a very limited public debt as far as the outside like countries or agencies are concerned.
Okay. Now, you tell me the reforms that is going on in our armed forces. Tell me something about the ongoing reforms in the armed forces.
Sir, first is the recruitment process. Sir, we have come about with a scheme called Agniveer, which happens to recruit the soldier level positions, the initial level positions, for a period of 4 years. So that is done to make our forces more agile, more young, and also to lessen the burden on the public exchequer. Because of the new age warfare,
You are for this or you are against this?
sir, I believe that it is worth trying. Because
It's worth trying.
yes, sir.
But India is already trying.
Yes, sir. So
So you are
I'm
for
in
it or against it?
I'm in for it, sir.
You are in for it. Okay. Any other reform that you can point out?
Sir, again, another reform is the constitution of position of the chief of chief of defense staff, to have more coordination between the three forces. Again, sir, we are now instituting the integrated theater commands for better coordination and also efficiency for operations. Sir, we are also embarking upon the defense modernization in a big way. We're collaborating with countries like US, France for latest technologies when it comes to air force and naval power. And also, sir, we are trying to indigenize our defense industries also. So for that, we the defense procurement policy has been fine tuned.
So you said, theater command.
Yes, sir.
What is the rationale for having a theater command? Like, US has, China has, they have different theaters of war. India is a small nation with a small, limited military objectives. What is our rationale for having this theater command?
Sir, as a rising and a responsible power and an aspiring power to be a net security provider in the region, we are also moving outwards. Now, sir, some 20-30 years back, we were more confined to our neighborhood. Now, sir, we talk about Indo-Pacific, we talk about the IMAC, we talk about FIPIC. So our outreach is increasing. So new theaters of opportunities are increasing. At the same time, sir, new conflict zones are also increasing. So for that, sir, we also require.
Can you give some example?
Sir, if we talk about the West Asia, now it is in a permanent state of turmoil, which has exacerbated over a period of time. If we talk about South China Sea, sir, it's also a conflict zone, and the piracy operations across the region. So that has also only increased with the period of time.
Okay. Now, tell me something about economic diplomacy. What do you understand by economic diplomacy?
Sir, basically it is about managing a country's relationship for the betterment of country's economic growth and enhancing its development parameters. Sir. So the
Okay.
kind of diplomacy that goes into doing this is known as the economic diplomacy.
Okay. Can you give some example of successful economic diplomacy that India has undertaken?
Sir, I believe all the signing of the FTAs with different countries, so that is part of the economic diplomacy that has certainly enhanced our trade to a greater level.
Give example.
Like sir, with ASEAN nations, we could improve upon the trade relationship. Although sir, since the past 3-4 years, it has got stagnant, but there was a greater push for a considerable.
Any other better example?
Sir, with UAE, we are seeing that with the signing of the free trade agreement, the level of trade has gone up recently.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Now you are going to select in this examination. थोड़ा सा आप देख लीजिएगा कहाँ पे आप दो चार गलती किए थे. ये जगदीश चंद्र बोस की वो जो क्रेस्कोग्राफ जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट था ये सब देखिएगा. और फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर, डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन और ये सब को थोड़ा सा देखिएगा. बाकी सब चीजें ठीक हैं आपके पास. अब उसका तो कोई वो नहीं होता कि क्या से कितने क्वेश्चंस आ सकते हैं. नो वन कैन प्रेडिक्ट द इंटरव्यू, बट इतना है कि आप हम लोग की ओर से परफेक्ट है.